Well, the past 100 years was the era of the Industrial Revolution, the Industrial era, where there was motorized machines that allowed you to create assembly lines to assemble something such as a car. And now, in this 100 years going forward, we are in the technology era where computer chips operate machines. And you're going to hear the word algorithm more and more as time evolves. It's a major part of computing, artificial intelligence. And at a very simple explanation, an algorithm is a step-by-step process, sometimes that use mathematics, to form the best conclusion to get the best results. It's basically making a decision through gathering data, analyzing it, and there's some pre-populated formula that says this, do this next, because this has the best probability of success with all the data we have. Companies collect data, so the more data you have, the more informed you are, and then the more the machines can process it. Good to see you, Keith and Adam. And so I've come up with the algorithm of success, the step-by-step formula that will give you overall success in life. And the opposite of that is the algorithm of failure, but I like to call it the algorithm of poverty. Because poverty is a more jarring word that catches you and puts your sensors to full alert. Now, this algorithm is based off a general average person, right? Because we know there's always variables, meaning there's differences in some experiments or people. And so some people, if they have an extreme disability, if they have an extreme circumstance, that this may not apply, but the average person, this will apply. And I want to say I learned about DoorDash from someone who's 50% disabled. And there's some people that no matter what their situation, they still have something to offer, but they have to do this formula, this algorithm of success. Here we go. The first step of the algorithm of success is to do something. Action. Action creates another reaction. And when you do something, now you're recommended by YouTube to get something. When you do something, now you're recommended by your manager to get something. By taking action, you create a series of probabilities that you will get rewarded more as if you didn't take action. So if you want to be successful, it's true you have to do the research, which research is gathering data. And that's what all these computers get. They get all this data. But then when they start to formulate the algorithm, then they have to take step one. Okay, compute. So you got to do something after you get the data. And then the next step is you're getting something in return. There's a lot of people who are lazy in their thought. They say, yeah, well, why don't you buy something? Doing something is different than buying something, okay? Because when you buy something, guys, it has other series of reactions. Doing something is creating. And when you create, you get rewarded. When you deliver a DoorDash, you get rewarded. But if you deny, you'd get nothing. Well, I could tell you about the algorithm of poverty. We're going to do that next. But the algorithm of success is you do something, you get something. Next is you have to manage that process. You're doing something, you're getting something. Now, if you manage it effectively, meaning you don't give it away, you don't gamble it away, you don't drug it away, you're going to get more. Those who are good stewards of something get more of something. There's a 4-step process to the algorithm of success. You do, you get rewarded, then if you can manage it, if you can sustain it, you get more of it. See, guys, We've all failed at all these things. Some people, you get lazy, you're young, you're immature, you're not doing. And then if you finally get over step one, you get rewarded, then you don't manage it. You risk it all away, you gamble it away, you do drugs, you spend it on frivolous things, you're not managing it, so you're not getting more. But then if you can break that barrier, if you can overcome that, and you begin to manage what you have right, you get more of it. And now you're in the algorithm of success. Doing, get rewarding, knowing how to manage it, and getting more of it. The algorithm of success. Click that thumbs up if you agree. Share this video with your lazy ass relatives that don't understand the algorithm of success. So now, before we go to members only comments, you want to be a member, click that blue join button. Now we're going to go to the opposite, the algorithm of failure. Or again, like I like to say, the algorithm of poverty. Well, it's like any formula, any engineering solution, reverse engineer it. Reverse engineer it. You know, remember when they blew up the stealth, brand new helicopters, these high technology helicopters that fly under the radar when they got bin Laden? They said that they had to blow up the helicopters because they didn't want the enemy to find them, the enemy, whatever the enemy is, because they didn't want them to reverse engineer the technology. See, once you know something, you can reverse engineer it and understand how it was created. So once you know the algorithm of success, you can reverse engineer it to see how the algorithm of failure or poverty happens. So let's reverse engineer it. Let's go to step one. Step one is you got to do something. So the reverse engineer of that is do nothing. If you do nothing, you get nothing. If you do nothing, you get nothing. If you reject a DoorDash order, you get nothing. See, guys, you think the more orders you accept, you don't think you get recommended for more? You think the more you help your boss, you think you don't get recommended for more? You think the better side work you do, your neighbors don't recommend you for more? Oh, but when you don't do nothing, when you show up late, when you reject, when you have a bad record, you get recommended for less. That's the algorithm of failure. And when you do nothing, you get nothing. Whatever little bit you have, you can't manage it. And then the final step of the algorithm of poverty is whatever you do have be taken away from you. There's a parable in the Bible that says, it talks about managers, stewards, that everyone has a different level of talents, okay? But the whole purpose is to use your talents, use your gifts to get rewarded for them, and then to learn to manage them. But for those who don't use their gifts, hide their gifts, not only will they not get nothing, whatever they do have, because they can't manage it, it'll be taken from them and given to someone else. This is the algorithm of success and the algorithm of failure, or the algorithm of poverty. And again, to balance it, we're not talking about someone, guys, who has an extreme disability. They're in an extreme circumstance. This is not to berate, belittle. This is to educate, empower, and push forward. Anyone who manipulates a wholesome message is your enemy, not your friend. Because every negative person has a problem for every solution. Never forget it. With that being said, in under 10 minutes, I broke down the science, the mathematical equation, to the algorithm of the future, to the algorithm of success, and God forbid, the algorithm of failure. So you say, well, I thought failure is if you try and you mess up. No. The algorithm of failure is if, one, you stop trying or you never try. Obviously, you want to learn from your failures. You want to learn from your addictions. You want to learn from your gambling. You want to look at your day trading tax returns for the past 10 years. You want to look, okay, at the history of every 2 weeks. Okay, are they sober for 2 or 3 weeks, and then do they go on a drug binge for 2 weeks? Look at the patterns of people. Humans are creatures of habit. Build boundaries, and you got to build your life. You got to separate. You know, even something as simple as researching how to be a YouTuber. The golden egg is always, look, you got to get on a consistent upload schedule because, look, YouTube is collecting data. And the only, I had an alert pop up. I'm going to do a separate video, alert pop up on my analytics screen. I mean, every day, every month you get this alert. And of course, the bottom line is the revenue, how much you're going to get per month. You get paid once a month when you're a YouTuber, if You work hard enough to get monetized. Lucky. Oh, 199 super chat. Truth out there. What? Hope you are doing well. It's been a while. Truth out there. Love to you. I hope you're doing well. Also, thank you, Truth out there. Keep pushing forward. Keep staying positive. Separate from any negativity or toxicity. Shout out to you. Shout out to all my members. Love to you and thank you. I'll do a separate video on this, but I want to say this. On the top of my screen, it says great news. This is my analytics screen. It says your videos got more views this month because of your hard work. And the bottom line, everyone to know, all right, yeah, how much you make? Guys, it fluctuates, but right now I've been making between $2 to $3 grand pre-tax, pre-expense. That can go down to $500 next month, but we'll see how it shakes out. I'll do a separate video on this, guys. You guys, I know you all want to know about how much money. Okay. But you all know I upload every day. I have for 4 years. You know I go live every day. I get death threats. I get psychopaths. I get out of my chair. I do videos of RVs, places of Florida, pandemics, whatever. What I want to tell you is keep a main job, do a side job. What I want to tell you, the more you do, the more you can get, but you got to manage it. I can take this 2,500, guys. Okay, I can make it rain in a strip club. I could bet it all on penny stocks. I could, God forbid, do drugs. I could do anything. And I'm not going to say I haven't failed in risky investments and done, but I manage it. Guys, I learn. I said, Sam, what are you doing here? How much are you losing? It's not easy. Guys, to break an addiction is not easy. To break a cycle is not easy. That's why they say the first step is take accountability and separate. So what I want to tell you today is this is the algorithm of success and failure. I'm going to take a hydration break. We're going to go all members' comments. Click that thumbs up. Leave a comment if you're a member in the live chat. Just say, hey, man, I'm here. Leave a comment on the replay. Just say algorithm. And if you don't know how to spell algorithm, just say A. Put all A's. Because every time you leave a comment, every time you click the thumbs up, every time you share the video with your ungrateful relatives or whoever, and every time, guys, you click some type of thing on my guys, it tells YouTube there's interaction. There's effort being put. There's effort coming back. Energy going in. Energy coming out. Recommend more. This is the algorithm of success. Guys, if I fall asleep, if I take a nap, if I don't show up, the algorithm of poverty comes onto my channel. They say this person's idle. They're not doing anything. Doesn't mean their channel's going to die, but we're not going to recommend more, because if we recommend more and this person's not showing up, then they're not going to create more. If they don't create more, they don't engage more. And same thing at your job, guys. This is just parable. If you don't show up at your job, guys, I don't care how many degrees you have. I don't care how much knowledge you have. They'll put up with it for a little bit, but eventually they say, we got to get someone, okay, that can do, because that's why we're here, so we can get more. Shout out to Mike, been coming in strong. All A's, that's the algorithm comment. Shout out to you. Thank you. I see you and I appreciate the support you've been showing. Love to you. If you can't say nothing else, A. I told my mom today, she was upset, 74 years old, still working, side jobs, cleaning houses, cleaning apartments. She goes, Sam, my first apartment in months, she only in the summer, she cleans them to supplement a little bit. And she goes, they weren't happy. The floor wasn't clean enough, they said, but it was very clean, Sam. I took pictures. And she gets all upset. See, some people mentally, they can't accept negative feedback and they fold. And I understand it. We all, guys, the reason that Facebook doesn't put a thumbs down is because psychologically it damages people and they won't post more. YouTube does it because they say, look, you're in the big leagues now, but I heard they're taking it away. To me, it is what it is, guys. Look, the psychopaths, that's the only thing they have left. The trolls died when Trump disgraced himself. The troll era is over, just like the industrial era is over. Some people are hoping for Trump 2020, but guys, 24, it's over. Okay, it's over. And the trolls with blocking, with boundaries online now, they're done. Trolling is done. It's been done for like 2-3 years. Okay. So now you're in an era, guys, where Alex Jones is gone, Trump is gone. We're in this algorithm, guys, okay, of, look, the bottom line is you had a shot to produce something, but what you produced, what came from your content was killing, not creating. What came from your content was trolling, not edifying. What came from your content was harmful, not helpful. And I don't know where you come from with your philosophy, but you can tell a tree by its fruit. Okay. You can tell someone's character by their content. And if you don't believe that, then guys, I got a filter for you. Christina, algorithm of success be on to you also. Damn it, Christina, you keep pushing forward. You keep your dreams alive. You keep going for a walk. Never be afraid to sweat. Never be afraid to use your age, use your health while you have it. Alex Jones is in the algorithm of being banned. Why? Well, the thing that pushed him over the edge, there was many, but he said that the Sandy Hook school shooting was, he alluded to, it may be a government fraud. Okay, it may just be the elitists trying to take our guns away. And then when he got sued by the parents of the dead children, and they proved in a court of law. Remember, we're a country of law and order. And in the country of law and order, the law said that it was fact, it was proven these kids died, and the parents had the right to sue Alex Jones. And when Alex Jones was sued, you know what he said in a court of law under oath, under the Bible? He said, well, I'm just doing satire, meaning like kind of joking around. I blame the mentally ill people online for feeding me this paranoia. That's what he said. Look it up. It's online. It's him testifying in his deposition. So here it is, the king of the psychopaths. He basically said the psychopaths made me do it. Okay. Here he is. Remember, Trump said, I'll be right behind you on Capitol Hill. And then remember, he wasn't there. And then remember, he said, like after the riots, he goes, these low-life scum. Remember after the riots? But remember after the Capitol, he said, these are good people. Go home. These are good people. You're special people. So you can't hide character. Character exposes itself by its fruit, by its followers, because they're following an example and they're following a teaching, a step-by-step procedure. If you don't get what you want, how do you react? Okay. So what I want to tell you today, okay, is that my teachings are wholesome. I don't tell anyone to hurt anyone. Okay. You don't have to agree with my philosophy, religiously, politically, whatever way. You're not quarantined here. You're not forced to be here. This is a free will thing. Okay. And so I stand behind my message, okay, of the overall context of my channel and the overall context of the message tonight. And what I can tell you is that is the message. All right. I'm going to roll down my windows. Love to everyone out there. Oh, yeah. Just pulling up my live feed on my laptop. Shout out to everyone out there. I appreciate you. Never forget it. I'll keep showing up. Never forget it. God, by God's grace. And what I can tell you is, remember, guys, if people don't like you, tell them, guys, there's the front door, there's the side door. Why are you in my life? Why are you terrorizing? See, this is the thing. You have a right, guys, to be yourself in your own personal space. In public space, you respect the public. In your private space, guys, right here, I'm in this private space. I could share my viewpoint, okay, which is, again, a wholesome one, because I'm not telling anyone to do anything illegal or hurtful. But what I want to tell you is, for some people, it's never good enough. Keith, I love you, brother. Keith, every day we're getting closer to the end of days. Okay? It's August tomorrow as I make this live feed. Depends when you'll watch this. But right now, in live time, guys, we're broadcasting live. Every night on this channel, I go live, guys. Tomorrow, well, in a couple hours, in Asia, remember, guys, in Asia, it's already the next day. You think the world revolves around you, your country, your time zone. Guys, there's a whole world out there. There's other planets. There's Mars. And so in this world, in this galaxy, remember, think outside yourself. A psychopath gets caught in their own head and they exalt themselves. They think that their way is the only way. Guys, there's so many ways. There's so many planets. There's so many countries. There's so many people. And there's so many girls, there's so many guys. Guys, you can live without them. There's so many houses. Oh, guys, just wait for a few months. It's going to be all right. Keith, tomorrow is a great day. It's a new month. August. The 8th month of the year. We're halfway through 2021. What does that mean? Well, what were your goals in the beginning of this year? Most people just had a goal. They wanted to get out their house. They were locked up. And now they basically, exploded with energy. That's dying down now. I heard today people talking about going back to school, going back to college. That's going to die down. Now they got to go back to their halfway renovated kitchen. The back order of their refrigerator will come in September, October. And then most people who didn't have enough urgency to relocate to Florida, they're going to be suffering through the winter. There's someone left a comment today, Keith. They left a comment on my channel. I can never live in Florida. It's too humid in the summer. Well, I say every other state is too cold in the winter. Okay. Florida is the warmest state in the winter in the entire United States of America. Never forget it. Not San Diego, not Texas, not Arizona. It's Florida. And not just any part of Florida, South Florida. So what I want to tell you tonight, you may say, well, if global warming comes, if climate change, which Elon Musk says is real, okay, science can't defute it. He said, even if that's real, why would you want to live in South Florida? Because, guys, why would you want to live on Mars? It's going to take hundreds of years to make that livable. So, you might as well live your life. Okay, try to recycle. Okay, but all I can tell you is this, guys: live your life. Adam, I love you, brother. Shout out to you. I know you're fighting depression. I saw that video today, Adam. I saw that video. See, you know what I saw? You break the algorithm of depression. Because the algorithm of depression is go take a nap, put the covers over your head. You say, look, even if I don't feel 100%, I'm making a video. I'm showing up. You fought with all your soul just to upload that video. I saw it in your spirit. So what I want to tell you, Adam, you're doing it, brother. Bubbles to you, brother. Bubbles. Because you created. You did, and now you create. And as you create, you get rewarded. Manage what you get. Okay. And you get more. Keep it up, Bree. 99 cents Dollar Tree Super Chat. Keep it up, Bree. What I want to tell you tonight, for you and for all my women out there, men are so horny, don't even worry about how you look. Because men are so horny that they want to have sex with anyone. It's true. I hate to say it. But what I want to tell you is this. Most people are not at peace with themselves. They're not productive enough to have sex with. And you're going to invite someone else in your body that's a complete psychopath. And you're already struggling. I know you're struggling. Why? Not because you're just a normal person in their 20s. Your brain doesn't fully develop till 25. You don't know who you are till 35. So what I can tell you is most people wake up at 35. They got 2 kids. They got too much stuff. And they're in the algorithm of stress. What's the algorithm of stress? Acquire without thinking. Commit without managing capacity. Then you end up overcommitted, overpurchased, and then you have a mental meltdown in your 30s. And that's the midlife crisis cometh in your 40s. And that's the algorithm of half your life wasted, and it's hard to get back. So what I want to tell you, if you're struggling with your body image, and if you're in your 20s, maybe you're not as skinny as you like, maybe your lips aren't as nice, maybe your ass, maybe your tits, your penis, something, you just don't feel as good looking as you want to be. I want you to go on Scottie Pippen's ex-wife Instagram and look at someone who got every plastic surgery you can get. And God bless her, I don't mean to shame her, but it just doesn't seem like it's worth it. And she's got money, and again, God bless her. I don't mean that disrespectfully. But what I want to tell you guys, if you're single with no pets, no kids, you're okay. You're okay. Work on yourself. You'll be fine. Thank you again, Bree. How? What's good, Sam? The hospital is totally different on the weekends. It's better. Well, I don't know if it's better, but I would say it should be a little bit lighter capacity, and at night it should be lighter, but I guess that depends. It could be more, maybe. Let's continue to read your comment. This is Hal, who's got a new job the past 6 weeks, working in a hospital as a operations manager for the cleaning department, I believe. He goes, I'm not mad about working on the weekends twice a month because I enjoy my job. I remember 6 weeks ago you were scared of your job, and that's how life is. See, the more you show up, the less fearful you get. Why? Because the more confident you get because you got more experience. The more confident you get, the more empowered you get, and the more you push forward. I want to tell you, Hal, if you get offered a promotion, not in 2 months, but in 2 years, accept it. My mom told me one of her biggest mistakes was not accepting a promotion. I've had people testify on my channel. One of their biggest mistakes was not accepting a promotion. They got too comfortable. They were too scared to go forward. See, guys, when you do more, when you show up, you'll get an opportunity to move up. But what happens is you're so comfortable in this habit, in this in this normal state of being that you don't want to push a little bit. There'll be a little bit of pain in the beginning of the new role, but there'll be more pleasure at the end. So remember that. How? The director was with me today. Good. That's how you network. That's how you learn from your mentors. And this is what, look, guys, when you're younger, it's good to work locally, not remotely, because when you're younger, you need the older people to mentor you, like I did. And then eventually you can do more things remotely because you got the experience. And then he goes, now here's you go, female director, guys. And here we go, guys. This is awesome. Female director. She texted me she won't be there tomorrow because she feels comfortable with me being alone. Hal, you got a great personality. You make people feel safe. You make people feel comfortable. That's your number one asset. Never forget it and never lose it. Good job. Amar, howdy all. Much love. Much love to you. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. I totally agree. My knee was hurting when I was driving my car for about 40 minutes today. I pulled over. I went for a 15-minute walk. My knee felt better. So what I can tell you is a body in motion stays in motion. Totally true. Movement in the right direction, one day at a time, one foot in front of the other, onward and upward. Amar, 100 emoji. Excellent comment. How? Made me feel good. It should make you feel good. A compliment and an encouraging word is a blessing from the Lord. And then he goes, made me feel good and made me feel a little more comfortable with how I'm doing with the job. You're doing excellent. You're showing up. First step. I'm going to knock out because I've had to be up. You've been up for work since 6:15. You did a great job. Hand clap emoji, heart emoji, prayer emoji, forward emoji, money bag emoji. How you did the first step of the algorithm of success. You showed up. And now you're getting more. You're getting more opportunity to work independent. Soon you'll eventually get an opportunity to get more money. And then it'll come down to how you manage it. Do you spend your money frivolously? Do you gamble it away? Do you give it away to a girl or guy, whatever? If you're going to get more because you're doing more, then the next step is you got to manage it well. If you manage it well, you get even more. And this is the algorithm of success. Truth out there, thank you again. Great to see you, Truth. I appreciate you. You keep persevering. You keep showing up. Love to you. Charles, shout out to Tampa. Shout out to you. You show up. You got a positive attitude. You met Hulk Hogan this year. You got to Florida this year. You upload videos. You're just doing your thing. You're meeting beautiful women all over Florida. You're in the algorithm of the tropics, which is come to Florida when you're young enough to enjoy it. Figure out how to make an income here. Stay out of trouble. Stay out of politics as far as like crazy shit. And persevere. You're doing a great job, Charles. Christina, good evening, Sam. Love to you, Christina. Love to your family. I'm praying for your entire family. I love you. ESP, very smart lady. She wants to go to Mars, and I think she can do it. I think ESP can make $100,000 in San Diego tomorrow, but I want her to secure that job before she leaves her current job. And I wouldn't be mad, ESP, even if you took a $50,000 job that you could work remotely. I want you to do your thing. And maybe one day, I know you have a dream, you want to go up to the space, and it's going to happen. Why? Because you're a smart woman. Never dumb yourself down for anyone else. Never act like you don't like being a geek. Why? Never sell yourself short. You're very intelligent. And if someone don't like the fact that you like Star Trek, what I can tell you is give them a dildo. Give them a dildo. Tell them go fuck themselves. Why? Because you're in the algorithm of being you. Okay. And ESP, you got it all. You got the whole package. You got the smarts. Okay. And I believe you're a good manager from everything I see in your temperament and your presentation. You seem to manage things very well. Okay. And so you're going to get more. I mean, it's like almost guaranteed you're in that algorithm. Okay. So what do I say? I say, I can't wait to see you get more because you earned it. Mike, thank you again. Love to you and appreciation to you. God bless you. Christina, I love you and I appreciate you very much. You keep smiling. You say, guys, look, when you're totally lost, as I was telling my mom too today when she was stressed out. Here we go, guys. I said, Ma, don't over apologize. Don't overthink it. If you're totally lost for words, just smile and say very little or nothing. When I'm totally lost, guys, I go like this. I want to tell you, Christina's got the avatar picture of a smiling, loving face. Now, maybe when she gets frustrated with her daughter, she turns into the devil. But guys, we've all done that. Okay, we're all human. We're all human. We're all human. So, oh my God, hold up, wait a minute. We got our brother, Infinity, with the vasectomy, who still has a dream. Infinity, tell me the dream is still true, or tell me if you changed it. You can change your mind or you can keep your dream. It's your life. Infinity has the dream to get the hell out of the condo, out of the HOA, and move into a travel trailer and do some traveling. I love you, brother, and I appreciate your comments. They're encouraging to me. Infinity says the dream is still true. I want you to continue to pursue that dream. Why? Because you're healthy. You've been a good manager. And being an RVer doesn't have to last forever. Maybe it'll last forever. Guys, there's plenty of people who die in their RV. You say, I'm going to do a whole video on this. Do I think living in an RV in an RV park, even a bad one, or a lower end one, is better than living in a housing projects in a bad area? Yeah, I still think RV park's better. So I want to tell you, never let anyone steal your dream, but don't be delusional. I don't feel like Infinity is delusional. I feel he's a good manager. He's worked hard, just like Keith. And they're ready now to experience life. It doesn't have to last forever. Nothing lasts forever. And it may last for the rest of your life on this earth. I want you guys and girls, directors, cleaners, janitors, algorithmers, IT science, door dashers, eBayers. I want you to go after what you want responsibly. I'm thinking of my guy Mark D in upstate New York. I want to believe that you can figure out a way to do what you want to do responsibly before you're 67. Now, again, may it still take a couple years? Yeah, it took me a couple years. And I still got to do some things I don't want to do. But I'm further today than I was a couple years ago. Just 12 months ago, I was doing more risky investments than I'm doing today. Because, guys, I said to myself, well, I'm still going to take certain risks, but I'm not going to mismanage what I have. I want more. And wanting more is not just betting to get more. It's not just playing the lottery. It's not just picking a stock. It's managing what you have well. See, some people have figured out the first two steps of the algorithm of success, which is show up and you get something. But then they fail at the managing, which we all have. They either gamble or risk too much, or they do it on drugs, or they waste it on a toxic relationship. If you can learn to manage what you have one way or another, and you keep doing steps 1 and 2, you're going to get more. And this is how you keep your dream alive. You say, well, my dream was to be a day trader. Well, hey, guys, look, if you're intelligent enough to beat the market, you're intelligent enough to figure out something else if you keep doing self-care and the first 2 steps of the algorithm of success. If you're intelligent enough, okay, to manage IT capacity, you're intelligent enough to get out of a toxic relationship. If you're intelligent enough to fill out a form to get a subsidy, I want to say you're intelligent enough to do a lot more than you think you can. See, guys, I think of people undersell themselves. Okay. We have to go forward. If you believe that, click that thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video. Okay, never forget it. Keep going. Back to live comments. Thank you again, Christina. I appreciate you. You've been very much an encouragement. Gianna, hey, Gianna, love to you and love to your family. You got a lot on your plate, but you're a very smart woman and you're going to figure it out. She goes, what advice did you give your mom? I told her to smile and say very little words. Why? Because she's 74. At this point in life, she's already proven over 40 years of work. She's doing this to supplement her income and really just stay busy. Because what she's making on cleaning, she's not really getting anything. It's just really to stay busy. I said, Ma, remember that. But when someone's very sensitive mentally, it's not going to make it better, but it's a seed. You say, well, why should I even share your video with my ungrateful relative? Well, guys, they're probably not going to do anything different, but it's a seed planted. Why should you even tell your mom anything when you know she's still going to hurt tonight? Because there's still wisdom and benefit to give someone an encouraging word and a piece of wisdom, but then step back. Because, guys, I have grown past the point where I need to smother encouragement. I give a word of encouragement, I step back, and then I smile and I shut up. I take my own advice. I told my mom I told her something encouraging and something wise. And then you know what I did? I smiled and let her repeat the same thing she just said. And I just let her share because I'm done. Once you complete what you needed to say, you're done. See, guys, I felt like I had to make people understand right now, right there. You know, that's the trading algorithm of I have to get it right now. I can't. No, it's short term, not long term. And guys, I like short term. I'm not a long term commitment guy, but everything I must overcome. Everything I must outgrow. I must go to the next dimension. See, guys, you don't have to wait to go to Mars to get to another dimension. There's plenty of dimensions here on Earth. And it concerns me that people who have, I'm not talking about people who have a passion about space like ESP or other people. I'm talking about people who have a passive way to live life. Because to be too passive is almost like to reverse engineer the algorithm of success. You know, the first step is to do something. Passiveness is do nothing. I know. So what about passive income, guys? Dividends can be good, but they can be cut. And if you think you're not going to go through mental pain, and you still have to evaluate what you're investing in. And you still have to have other sources of income. Nothing is passive. Everything requires some level of effort, energy, and it takes something out of you. Nothing in this world, even a dividend that's safe, is passive. And if you think it is, if you know it is, then why would you hate? Why wouldn't you just leave? Because you feel you have to make me understand. But I feel like I have to see your past 10 years of tax returns. I want to see them. But I guarantee you won't show them to me just like Trump didn't show me his, even though he wanted Barack Obama's birth certificate. Isn't that hypocrisy? How can you say I want to see your birth certificate, but I say I want to see your tax returns, and you say you can't show me? Okay. You say, well, he was under audit. Hey, guys, Obama didn't have to show Donald Trump anything. He under no obligation, but he did it. Okay. Two different people, two different fruits of their tree. You show me the fruit of someone's life, I'll show you their character. That's what Jesus said. You show me their fruit. See, some people can't even handle it. Why do you think they crucified Bible? I guarantee a lot of people who claim to be Christians now, they would be crucifiers. Why would that upset you? I know why, because you're scared to say, I repent. Repentance is not in your vocabulary. It's not in your spirit. Doubling down, pride is in your spirit. The prideful shall be humbled. Those who exalt themselves shall be humbled. There's two spirits in this world, but greater is the spirit in you than the spirit in the world. I want to tell you tonight, guys, look, if you don't like this message, leave. And if you still stay, you're deplorable. Because you can't even just leave. This is why I changed my number with my father. Spiteful trumper. Spiteful person. That's why I tell you, when you break up with someone, change your number. Because it's not enough that you respectfully just don't want to be part of their life. They have to hurt you. They have to leave a spiteful message. Why? I'll tell you why. Because they're actually too sensitive. They can't handle pain mentally. They can't handle the truth. You know, could they really handle, like someone said the other night about Biden's son being on drugs, could you really handle that Ronald Reagan and the Iran-Contra, that the Reagan era did a deal with Iran? You know Iran, right? Sold them guns to fund the war in Nicaragua and allowed the drugs to funnel into the country, directed them at minority bad communities. And then eventually that overspread into the suburbs. Can you really handle that? That's fact. Can you handle it? So, look, guys, we could say that Reagan was great, but Reagan was in bed with Iran. That's the fact. Okay. We can really say, guys, just say no to drugs, right? And we can go down all these algorithms. And we can bring everyone's corrupt, guys. Okay. But I want to tell you tonight that you have to separate from people that want to argue with you. Okay. As far as in your personal life, in your professional life, in a community, whether it's HOA or government, you got to compromise. You got to work together. Okay. You got to work together. In a company, you got to work together. Why? Because, guys, this is a private setting. See, this is the problem with some people online, especially the mentally ill. They're isolated, and everything they talk and they do is in their own mind. They're by themselves, and they run their house or they run wherever they're at. But they don't realize, guys, these videos and the internet is a private thing as far as like when you share. I mean, you don't understand, guys, when you're in public, when you're in a common area, you have to get, most people you should get along with, or you should figure out a way to get along with them. It's not your way or any way. In your personal life, do whatever you want. Vote however you want. Like whatever you want. Okay. The algorithm of failure is not being able to separate personal, public, shared, private. Boundaries, spiteful, compromise, encouraging. You know, because I disagree, okay, with certain things, like Trump or whatever, does that mean I think all people who voted for Trump are bad? No. Does that mean all people I think voted for Biden are good? No. Okay. And I think everything's corrupt, but I think, guys, everything is life. But I pick and I say what I feel based on my opinions, my experience. Life is not an exact science. But it is a level of science. You know, I don't know. You know, now you live in a time with all the information that people think don't listen to any information, just listen to your gut. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. You're going to overpurchase, you're going to end up in a bad relationship, and you're going to be totally unknowledgeable. You can't get all the answers from data and from books and from teachings. You got to, there is an art of life. Okay. But there's a balance between both science, art, your gut instincts, and data. There's a balance. A balance. Let's go back to live comments. Thank you again, keeping up a breed. Thank you, Infinity. ESP, thanks, Sam. You know I love you. Infinity Dream is still alive. Keep it alive. ESP. If she doesn't need the money, maybe she should drop the one person as a client. I told her that earlier this summer, because she only does this in the summer. And I told her, don't do any apartment on the second floor because you have to walk upstairs. Your knees are horrible. Just do the 2 on the first floor. And she said, Sam, you're totally right, but she mentally cannot balance. My mom doesn't have, sometimes, unless she's really pushed, the capacity to say no. Like, she'll overeat. She's obese. I remember when I was trying to get out of obesity and she would cook me chicken. She would cook like pots of chicken. And I said, Mom, this is way too much. And I thank God that she is on that end rather than my father, who's on like very stringent, very strict mindset. Because, you know, when in doubt, you want to, guys, I'd rather be on the progressive side. I'd rather be on the extra side than the stingy side. Why? Because, guys, look, even if you're right, I don't want to be around an anal retention asshole. Okay? Even if the vaccine kills everyone, guys, I don't want to be around 20% of people who are unvaccinated who have a certain philosophy of life. I got to reprocreate, fuck them and have kids with them. That's how I figured it out. I said, well, guys, look, it may kill us all. What are we going to do? What are you going to do? Let's stay positive. I got negative. But it's how I feel. But I'm trying to say that, look, my mom, all of us, myself included, we all, but my mom even more so, mentally, she cannot moderate. Some people can moderate better than others. Some people are extreme. I have levels of extreme. I'm an extreme minimalist, right? And I've often shared, like now I'm in an algorithm where even spending anything or doing anything can be a little bit tough. You know, spending $3,500 on a hotel, well, it really didn't affect my bag just to do it. But now, I don't know. I mean, even after doing that and leaving the hotel with a negative feeling when the bed was getting itchy, I didn't like that. But I want to share with you that some people mentally, there's mental part of life where people cannot say no to food. They can't say no to drugs, but they can. Like eventually my mom could get a divorce. Eventually my mom could change, but sometimes for her, it's got to be total failure or close to it. And sometimes people can't change. They're going to be that way till the day they die. DMX, maybe a family member, maybe Joe Biden's son, maybe Donald Trump. You think Donald Trump's going to change at 70, whatever? No. Okay. So people can change though, but you have to want to, you have to repent, but not just repent either, because you have to have a capacity. I remember when Donald Trump was getting interviewed when he was running for president, and I forgot, it was the blonde female lady from Fox News. And he had gotten argue with her on the Republican debate because remember he said like there's something like red coming out of you. Remember the blonde girl from Fox? He said something like she was on her period, like he alluded to it. And then she invited him to a sit down and then invited him on the sit down. She goes, well, I thank you. Even though we've had our disagreements, you decided to come sit with me. And he goes, well, I appreciate you doing it because to be honest with you, I don't have the capacity to, once like I'm mad at someone, I never that's it. And again, in your personal life, I think I'm similar, but in a professional life, especially if you're going to be in charge of other people, you don't have the luxury or it's not wisdom to be like that. You have to deal with other people. That's why I think DeSanto's a great governor, horrible president. Why? You can't, one is, he never really said anything like the Capitol thing was a disgrace. So I got a problem with that. Okay. I got a problem with it. And two is, again, I think there's a different theology, a different algorithm to managing a state versus a country that's globally connected. See, some people don't realize there's this book called The Peter Principle. You should read it, especially if you're in the workforce. My ex-manager who voted for Trump, I like him, he recommended it. Guys, I've been promoted. I've been hired by a lot of people who like Trump. So I loved him. And they know that, look, this is my private time. I speak how I speak. But this was years ago too, not even recently. Years ago, one of my ex-managers, because at that time, he wanted to promote me. And he said, Sam, I give you this and this to do. You done it. You got to, and you got your electrical license. I want to promote you to this thing. Because this other person ain't doing it. I want to give you what they got because they're not taking care of what they need to take care of. And I was like, oh, I was like, I'm not really pressed to move up, but I said I'll do it. But there was politics involved, so he couldn't get me the promotion. And he said, Sam, look, you earned it. You got everything to get, but we can't squeeze you because, he told me about I know the politics. I said, I understand. See, guys, some people, they spiteful, like they're going to make a big deal. I saw the big picture. I saw that I was still in the early stages of my career. I'm going to get another shot. I'm not going to create a war over something petty. I'm going to think strategically long-term. So I let it slide. I was like, no problem. I understand, I told him. And he goes, Sam, it's funny that you're not pressed to move up. I want you to read the book, The Peter Principle. I believe that's what it's called. It's about a book that people get promoted to their level of incompetency. What does that mean? Well, it means that you're good at flipping burgers, then you get promoted, to be the night shift manager. So you're the night shift manager, then you get promoted to be the day shift manager. But maybe when you get promoted to be the day shift manager, you struggle and you can't deal with the extra crowds. So you got promoted because you did good with what you got, but eventually you got to a point where your skill set, your personality, your adaptation level maxed out. And now you got promoted to the place where you're actually not good. But you don't know that until you go there. But the Peter's principle was that most people will get promoted to their place of incompetency to do what they're not good at. Like Donald Trump, guys, great salesman, great entertainer. You could even say great real estate guy, bad manager, bad business manager, great entrepreneur, great salesman, great brander, bad business manager. Most of his businesses, he was able to start them and brand them, but he wasn't able to manage them and they went bankrupt. What he really sold was his name, his brand. And most of the buildings that his brand was on, he didn't own them because he wasn't a good owner-operator. He was a brander. He was a salesman. So he's good at selling. He's good at promoting. He's good at cross-marketing. He's bad at managing. He got promoted to the level of his incompetency. And so, this is a very powerful principle of life. Read the book, Peter's Principle. It's very interesting. Let's go back to live comments. I got to take a hydration break. Shout out to you, ESP. Charles, I second that, ESP. Better one will show up. ESP told me hydration break. Thank you, ESP. All right, guys and girls. I broke down the first 10 minutes, the algorithm of success, and then we went into a bunch of other things. I tried to avoid some of the politic things, but I roll into them. So I still feel like within a lot of that stuff is still a lot of good stuff. Hopefully people can stomach the politics and a life talk and pull out the gems, and whatever they don't like, just throw away. And if they really don't like me, just leave. That's the best way for life to be. Because I still, again, I want everyone to do whatever they want as long as what they're doing is not hurting anyone. My message is the message of, guys, wholesomeness. I'm not telling you to do anything hurtful. And so I hope that in life you continue to adapt. I do believe that you need to hone in a certain skill set and whatever you're passionate about. I do believe that, for many of us, you may have to do some things you don't want to do. All of us do. Even Elon Musk did. Keith, I love you, brother. Keith, $10 super chat. Inspirational Nomad. I appreciate your algorithm of videos that have inspired me. Keith, I believe in you so much, man. I'm not pandering either, guys, because, guys, the one good thing, guys, look, that obviously I'm going to be grateful anytime I get a tip, anytime I get a positive comment. But you guys know, if you've been watching long enough, I've also blocked members. I pretty much share directly. Okay. And so if I share with you, Keith, that I believe that if you could have the tenacity to work 30 years, which means you kept a level of sanity where you were able to function and show up to work, that you still have your health, you still have the ability to type comments, you still have a passion, you still have desire, you still have, by a lot of data, 20 more years of a lot of great living. You still have a lot, and you can do what you want to do. I want you to be responsible, but I want you to hear this. You know, I remember pushing my mom to get a divorce because I said, Mom, and sometimes I remind her, I said, Mom, remember, sometimes she thinks she's weaker than she is. And my mom is a little bit of a softie, but I thank God my mom's a softie because I don't want to be around all people who are very hard and rigid, even if they're strong and tough. Again, guys, I'd rather be with a compassionate person than an asshole. Again, guys, you guys know I'm not a butterfly. I mean, but I want to share with you that I have to remind my mom. Sometimes I remind myself. I mean, now I'm kind of like in a zone. But I said, Ma, I know that, you struggle being strong. I said, but Ma, you've done a lot of things with your life. And when you need to, you figure it out. See, when I was in New Jersey last year when the pandemic hit, thank you again, Fred, if you're watching this, who encouraged me when I went up to New Jersey. Never forget you, bro. Shout to Brooklyn. When I went up to New Jersey, one of the good things was I was able to work with my mom and got her first ever smartphone. She's 73, her first ever smartphone last year. She had a flip phone all the way up to then. And she was very scared to get this smartphone, very scared. I said, Ma, it's time. I don't know what's going to happen with the pandemic. If I got to go back down to Florida, I want to be able to see you. You need this damn phone. And eventually, the reason she kind of had to get it. There's an ambulance and a cop car coming, so excuse the noise. I'm in all night gas station. But one of the reasons she basically was willing to get this phone was because her old phone was dying. See, sometimes death, like Steve Jobs said, death is the ultimate inventor. Because sometimes people need to be pushed to the point they have no choice. And not that I wish death, but you guys know what I'm saying. Sometimes the relationship got to get bad, so bad, you say, guys, they might as well be dead. Sometimes you got to get bullied so bad, you got to say, look, I mean, I know I can't beat Mike Tyson, but I'm not going, if I'm going to get beat up anyway. Sometimes you got to lose so much money and say, look, sometimes you got to, God forbid, you got to overdose and you got to, I don't wish any of these things on anyone. I had to go to the emergency room because I had a pain in my chest. I had nerve damage. It woke me up in my 30s. I said, I got to get out of obesity. I got to take care of my body a little better. Okay. Sometimes you got to get in an emergency room and say, look, guys, would I have got my health together after I let myself go without going to the emergency room? Not to the extent I did, guys. It pushed me. I realized being on that emergency room in that bed, and even though my mom was there, guys, you're alone when when you feel like you got major problems. And and all the nurses tried to do the best they could, and and everything. But I was in the waiting room for hours, and they do a bunch of tests. You just sit there. I said, man, as much as I can help, and I never want to put my destiny in someone else's hands. As much as I can help it, I said I could do better than this. So, I'm saying all that to say I'm throwing a lot of stuff out there, guys. Last year when I was in New Jersey, I got my mom her first ever smartphone. Her old phone was dying. She needed a smartphone. And she's eventually, guys, she learns it. I talk to her every day. I text her now. She does video conferencing. It's amazing. She's still not like a rocket science, but she uses it. And sometimes when she struggles with something, she goes, Sam, I can't figure out how to do this on the phone. And I try to explain to her, but then when I feel like I'm at this dead end, I said, Ma, When you get a Venmo is a way to, it's like a PayPal. Venmo is a payment system, app. And when my mom cleans an apartment, she gets the people Venmo her. It's like a PayPal. And I said, Ma, you know how to figure out the Venmo. You know how to figure out the money. You'll figure out this other thing. You know. She laughs. I'm saying all this to say to Keith, how many times have you been in FedEx and you had to figure out how to deliver something? Maybe it didn't have the right address. Maybe there was a logistical problem. I remember being in high school. I said, this don't make any sense. I remember going to one of my teachers. I said, what's all these questions? They have nothing to do with real life. And this one teacher, I can't remember their name, but I remember them saying to me, they could, Sam, look, I understand that, to be honest with you. But the whole point of the question is to see if you can understand the problem that's being, this is like a word problem, like you know, I forgot what they call them, but you read a paragraph, there's a problem, and then you have to figure out it's the whole point is, can you analyze the problem and figure out a solution? And that's life. You know, when you get a DoorDash and the apartments aren't marked, you got to figure out how to resolve it. Whether it's calling up tech support, whether getting out of your car, you got to figure out, right? You know, when you work in FedEx, you know, and a package is damaged or there's an issue with your bar scanner, you have to improvise. This is life. And if you've done anything over a period of time, you figured out how to improvise. You figured out how to be creative. You figured out how to get support, how to figure out the problem. And sometimes you can't, but you've learned how to do a lot of things you thought you couldn't. So Keith, everyone out there, here's the good news. And this applies to everyone right now who's watching, even people who have mental problems, even people who are disabled. Wait till I'm going to blow your mind right now. You figured out how to use YouTube. YouTube is a technology platform. You figured out how to create a profile or use it. I always challenge every troll. If you have figured out how to create multiple profiles, you have data entry skills. And you have way beyond that. So people undersell their ability. Like, people get so mad at me or another YouTuber, so they say, I'm going to create a bunch of profiles and thumbs down. That's not 12 people or however many people thumbs down. It's fucking a couple people. But even then, I want to encourage them. Guys, I want to encourage people, even them. When you've gotten determined enough, you figured out how to solve a problem. You want to show me that you're upset. You figured it out. I don't need to tell you this. I'm telling this to people who have bad intentions towards what I'm telling you because I want to empower you. I don't want to overthrow you. But sometimes people don't want to be empowered. Why? You know, I don't try to figure out the psychopath. Why? I don't try to figure out the illogical. Not because I think less than them, because I just showed you I don't think less than anyone. But I don't think that I'm below anyone. But I'm also not going to waste energy. It's not my job to figure out other people. It's not my job to save people. It's my job to not hurt other people, to not be spiteful towards other people. I can share my vigorous opinions in my space. I would never share some of the things I'm sharing in a public space because it's unfair to other people. You understand what I'm saying? So, I understand boundaries. But the message is to edify, to encourage, and not in a pandering way. Guys, I'm giving you practical, common sense, and yes, a level of emotional encouragement, but not just candy sugar. This emotional encouragement is not a Tony Robbins sermon. This encouragement has the fuel of logical steps that you could take. Liquidate your assets, keep your job. If you don't want to live where you're at, liquidate your assets, keep your job. Why? Because now you have income, less expenses, more flexibility. That's step one. You say, I don't want to liquidate my assets. I like where I live. Okay, if you have too much stress, then You need to consolidate assets because you got too much to manage. Every person has an individual circumstance, but there's an algorithm for every circumstance. An algorithm is a step-by-step process, an equation to get you to the best probability of solution. Inventory your life. Assess your life. You're the manager of your life. You say inspirational nomad. I worked a night shift. I'm a janitor. You're the manager of your life and the director. And if you are not going to put enough effort into developing yourself, someone else will have to direct your life. As much as you can, within your ability, within your season of life, never be lazy, lethargic, apathetic, lack of urgency. Be responsible. Wait for certain time periods to do things in wisdom. But if you got more than 20 years to retire and you're not where you want to live, you have to figure out a better pathway to not quit working, but to figure out how can you work in your field in an area you want to live. Okay. How? Okay. If you've got too much stress, how can you eliminate some stress I guarantee you people have some stress in their life that they shouldn't be stressing about. There's things they got. I saw a girl today. She said, I think I've come to the conclusion I need less clothes because when I have less clothes, I'm less stressed. And especially, look, I mean, I understand, you're going to get your nails done, you want to have clothes, you want to look pretty, that's great. But also, you can get too many options to create too much stress. And especially as you get older, guys, the good part about getting older is, look, you're never going to look like your skin is never going to be firm like it was in your 20s. Your muscles are never going to grow like they did in your 20s. Never. I don't care how much you work out, what you look like, But the good part about getting older, and even if you get a little flabbier, is you got less peer pressure. I mean, at 40, at 50, I mean, are you really trying to prove to someone that they should pick you, that you're successful, that you're the most trendy? If you're trying to do that, you haven't evolved past immaturity. I'm sorry, Christine, I'm talking long. Thank you, Jenna. Let me go to these live comments. I got in the spirit. Thank you, everyone. Charles, Sam, same thing happened to me, Sam, in my early 30s. I got pulmonary, forgive me for saying this wrong, implosion? I'm not saying that right. I've heard of that, but I'm not saying that right. On my birthday. I think I got it from laying on the couch all the time. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I could definitely tell you, for the vast majority of human population, the worst thing you can do is keep your body idle. Your body is a machine, guys. Even if you don't believe in putting a chip in your computer or a vaccine in your arm, your body's a machine. Your body has a respiratory system, a circulatory system, a digestive system, a reproductive system. Your body has systems. And those systems only function when you get blood flow. When you move your body, your heart pumps more blood through your extremities. When your blood flows, it delivers nutrients and oxygen to your cells. Your body is made up of cells. When your body doesn't move, your blood doesn't flow. And guys, basic example, you sit on a toilet bowl too long, your legs go numb, you become paralyzed. Don't paralyze your life. There's a level of movement towards life. Okay. The algorithm of success is doing. Take your breaks. Guys, 6 to 8 hours of sleep. You don't need naps. Even if you went to bed at midnight, you wake up at 6, you've fulfilled the requirement to repair your body. 8 hours, that's great. More than 8 hours is oversleep. A nap messes up your sleep cycle. Of course, there's exceptions, but these are general principles. Charles, it woke me up. Sometimes we need it. Gianna, I very much appreciate your very encouraging comment. Thank you. Look, sometimes, when you have a level of wisdom or intelligence, you're still going to get humbled. Guys, Elon Musk can still get humbled. I could still get humbled. I've gotten humbled before because I thought I figured out certain things, and you never figure out everything. And at the end of the day, if I'm being honest, because of my experiences with my mother and good people, bad people, and my mom has good and bad. No one's perfect. I put no one on a pedestal. But because I've experienced a certain amount of empathy, I've realized in life, even if my mom was mentally strong and wise and intelligent in every decision, if she didn't have empathy, if she wasn't compassionate, and sometimes to her fault, an enabler, and I will not stand in agreement with enabling, but I want to share this message with you. That if I had all the wisdom in the world, yeah, but I didn't understand love, guys, I would basically not be anything. That scripture is true. Now, again, you say, well, why do you block people? Guys, I got to have boundaries. If people watch my videos and if they have a level of common sense, they recognize, even if we disagree politically, theology, and even if we're not friends, guys, I'm not out there to cause harm in this world. Okay. And my life has proven it. Look, I'm not perfect. Don't take everything I say for gospel. But I'm trying to tell you that the wisest, the most intelligent people still have to bow down to empathy and love. Even Elon Musk said this. So even if we go to Mars, guys, if we go to Mars and we develop it to America, which would take hundreds of years, guys, it's like, if I interviewed, I thought about that today, if I interviewed Elon Musk, what would be my first question? Because there's two things I want to ask. Number one, let's address the elephant in the room about going to Mars. I say, Elon, all right, the sales pitch is we have to go to Mars to give human civilization, to prevent us from possibly being extinct and to have another outlet in case Earth is not survivable. If, let's say we get to Mars, what's the game plan? Everyone's going to be construction worker for 1,000 years? Because that's what it would take to develop it. He would basically have to say yes. So my next question, my follow-up question would be, if you're doing all this to enhance the probability of humans being able to not become extinct, because he says the two greatest threats are the birth rates get too low, we don't have enough people to continue human civilization, or Earth becomes uninhabitable, whether because of climate change or nuclear war or some type of war, and we need another outlet. If the whole point is to extend human civilization, why do we want to extend it if we just keep going to an algorithm of it's never going to be heaven, it's never going to be perfect? The only thing I could say that Elon would reply to that, if I put myself in Elon Musk's shoes, because you always have to put yourself in someone else's shoes. If I was Elon, I would say, well, that's a fair question, but I would say to you this. If someone was interviewing Jesus, Gandhi, Thomas Edison, thousands of years ago, the cavemen, even someone 100 years ago, and they said, well, why should we keep civilization? We're never going to get to a better point. Well, guys, it's a lot better than it was. When if you disagreed with someone, you were tortured, or there wasn't basic healthcare, there wasn't basic civility, there wasn't basic amenities. Humans have changed. They've evolved. They've made societies better. The counter argument is always, well, there's always the depressed. And I still get depressed. I still hate life sometimes. There's still always tragedies in the world. I understand. Like, guys, we can't figure out everything here tonight. But there is an argument to be made that there is a level of advancement through human consciousness and creativity and development that does make things better over time. If you look at context of history. Is that worth it to give humans continued life? It's debatable, but it's an intriguing interview. Okay. But the bottom line, guys, I would be happy if I got you through the day and got you motivated to go out there and live your best life. Even if you come to Florida, you're still going to have bad days, but I still believe, I know from my experience, if it's your passion, I've had more good days in Florida than bad. It matters to follow your passion. And I got that reinforced last year when I went to New Jersey. Even though I would like to trade every day because I get, I'll do a separate feed on this, but I get a high off the excitement, I still can step back and say, look, if this is causing me statistically more harm than good, step back for a while. If not, then even if you get the money, you are now addicted to something that you can't enjoy life without it. And if you can make money and manage it, you don't have to double it. If you can double it, that's cherry on the top. But if you try to double it and you're losing it, it's a dagger to your soul. There's a scripture that says, those who have an endless thirst for money induce many sorrows into their life. I like money. You should love money. You should earn it. You should get more. But you know what I'm saying. K. Smith, $2 super chat, hydration break, algorithm boosting super chat. K. Smith, you've been positive and you made me laugh today. Shout out to Tulsa. I believe you may be from Tulsa. I'm exhausted. I poured out my spirit. But I'd rather be exhausted at the end of the day doing things I didn't want to do, doing things I wanted to do, not taking a nap and going to sleep like a baby and waking up and being in an area I'm inspired to be, doing a creative venture on the side. I mean, guys, look, I like the YouTube money. I share with you, I probably wouldn't do it at this point if there was no money, but I did do it in the beginning. But guys, I mean, look, I'm not going to talk like this if I don't have some level of passion. I mean, guys, like I tell you, I mean, I could, what was I on here for? An hour and 20 minutes? Guys, I could go do electrical work and probably make more. Why am I sharing with you? Because, guys, you have to have some outlet for your passion, and you should figure out a way to see if you can honestly make some level of money, even if it's not the greatest, on your passion. And if you can't, you still keep a side job, and you should still keep a side job so there's less pressure. When there's less pressure, you can be more yourself. You know, my mom also showed me the example. She would work at a supermarket. She worked for a while. She worked as a secretary. But her real passion was to sing. On the weekend, she sung at church. And when she would sing at a wedding or funeral, she would make a couple $100. That was her passion. But she could never make it a full-time job. You know, and to me, it's like same thing with YouTube. Now, could I ever make it a full-time job? We'll see, but I don't even know if I would ever trust it if I could. But what I want to show you that it's still worth it to go, but you still have to treat it like an algorithm of success. You have to show up, you'll get more. You have to manage what you get. But that's the live feed tonight, guys. Christina, I love you and thank you for everything. ESP, thank you for everything. Thank you, Christina, for the love for my mother. Love to you. I know it's not easy being a mother. Charles says, as soon as he turns 40, I cared about losing my hair less and less. Oh yeah, I love shaving my hair. Less stress. Oh, Jack, $4.99 super chat. Great speech. Just increase my index 2% more. I love you. I want you to live your best life. I want you to have a steady source of income. I want you to consistently live below your means, and I want you to look at your investments as cherry on the top, and don't make them your everything. Respect them, but don't make them your, because they can go down just like they did last year. They could stay down like they do sometimes. But remember, your mental health and your ability to make money and manage it is more important than your ability to double it. Because if you're fortunate enough to invest your money, whether in your own business or some investment, or if you're not, like I always tell you, always play worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is you have a main source of income, you live below your means, you have little to no debt. And if your goals of having a business or having an investment fund, if they don't work out, you're not destitute. And even though it wouldn't be fun, that's an encouragement. Okay. Because I want people in between their goals and their now. I want them to enjoy life without sorrows unnecessary induced stress. I don't want you to every day be stressed about markets. I want you to, and I have to tell myself this, I want to have goals, have dreams, adapt, change them if necessary. But I want to enjoy the basics of life, because without that, I have nothing. If I don't have the ability to discipline myself and to enjoy managing my time and enjoying my environment, I have nothing. Even if my account has many things, and you need a certain amount of money, but even if my account has a certain amount of growth rate, if I haven't learned to manage my time and be content, I have nothing. Because every day passes by, I have not enjoyed myself. And if the day comes where even my accounts have grown and I'm older and I lost my 10 years, 4 years of all the stress, it's not good. Some people say, do I regret selling my house? No. Even if it was worth more now, no. Why? Because for 4 years, I've gotten to live where I wanted to live. To me, guys, that's fine with me. That's great with me. I would do the same thing twice. Back to these live comments real quick. And then he goes, basically Charles says when he went bald, he basically accepted it. It liberated his soul. And he's moved forward in life. And I agree. Look, as you get older, I remember watching, what was the movie? It was like a baseball team with Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen was in the movie. It was about a baseball team, a bunch of they were the Cleveland Indians. I forgot the name of the movie. They had a low probability of winning. And in this movie, I remember the older head coach, the manager, actually, they call him manager, I think, in whatever. The manager of the baseball team, there was a woman that came into the locker room, and all the young people kind of headed to cover their body, and the older guy didn't want to cover his body, and the older guy was the less attractive. He had a beer belly, his body was hairy, and the lady said, "You're not going to go cover yourself?" He goes, "I'm not like these young kids. I'm old. I don't care what anyone thinks." One of the best things about getting old is accepting some insecurity, and then you get so secure within your insecurity, you're not insecure. It's a liberating thing. It's true. But that's why don't overdo the plastic surgery. You'll probably overcome some insecurities. Charles says life is about letting go of things as we age. I totally agree. 100 emoji. K Smith, thank you again. Jack, thank you again. I wish you much love and success. Rideshare Show and Sam, I'm about to live in my car again. I make $3,199. Rent or buy. When you say you make basically $3,200, is that a month? And is that take home after tax, after health insurance? Most people make around $3,200 a month, the average American. So I'll answer it I'll wait for you to reply. But if you are a single person with no pets, no kids, The good news is if you're taking home $3,200 a month, you're okay even if you rent. Okay. So one is be encouraged if you take home $3,200. Now, if you get paid $3,200 with DoorDash, you are not making $3,200 because you would need to deduct about 30 to 35%, not necessarily for taxes, but for car depreciation, gas, wear and tear, and then you probably have about a 10 to 15% tax rate. So if DoorDash, if you added up all your direct deposits from DoorDash, oh, well, here you go. He goes $3,200 after tax and healthcare. Okay, then you're doing great. If that's after tax, you're doing great. So that's number one. Number one is a word of encouragement. So number two, to answer your question, now that you're never good. Here's, hold on. Rideshare Sean. You're not destitute at all. So be encouraged. Okay. So here's the next two questions. One is, how much do you have in savings? If you're going to rent a place, you're going to need probably more than $5,000 in savings because you need usually first and last month deposit and some extra expenses probably. So you'd want really $10,000 in savings. You don't have to, but that's something you have to consider, okay? Next is, do you need to be in a certain area for your job? Is your job fully remote? Or do you need to be stationary in a town? If your job is fully remote, I would figure out where you want to live. And that means even if you're remote, you have to be willing to separate yourself from a familiar environment, familiar friends and family. I would figure out where you want to live before you would rent anything. Hit the road while you're young enough and healthy enough. But with a game plan, with a direction, a routine, and a savings account. But if you don't know where you want to live, or if you have to be static, and if you're not really keen on hitting the road, you want to be local. To me, if you have to ask the question, you should rent. Why would I say that? Because I never had to ask anyone the question, should I live in my car? Here's why. Because for me, I knew I wanted to go to Florida. And for me, renting in New Jersey was a temporary thing, and I felt it was a waste of money because I figured, well, I'm young enough, I'm healthy enough to try living in my car, even in the winter in New Jersey, which I did for 2 years. Let me at least try it. I had enough in savings I could rent at any time. Why not try to do it? And if I don't like it, I'll rent, right? So, and I knew that I had a fire under my belly that even if living in my car doesn't work out, even if I rent New Jersey, I'm going to Florida eventually. So everything pointed to give at least car living a shot for me. And I knew I have a somewhat of a tough mindset. I knew that I could adapt well, and I had figured out a place to park for at least 3 months. Okay. But to me, once I did the research, once I collected the data, I figured out the algorithm. I watched everyone on YouTube, the Bob Wells, the Nomadic Fanatics, all the regular people. And I figured out, I figured out the basic shit. And I didn't ask anyone. And I'm not saying you're wrong for asking me. I'm very grateful you're asking me, but I'm sharing with you that I wanted to do it. That's why I'm telling you this. I wanted to live in my car because to me, it's like, even if I don't want to do it, I want to at least try to do it. And I have enough capacity to figure it out if I don't like it. So, I would never tell the very destitute to live in their car because they don't have enough capacity to get off the road if they need to. They should get subsidized housing and food stamps. You're not destitute. So, but you're also not determined to live in your car because you don't have a specific plan, or else you wouldn't ask. And there's no shame in asking. So, but if you don't have this specific plan, if you're not determined, I would lean towards renting. Even if you're paying $1,200 a month, and if you're single with no pets, no kids, I would try to get $1,000 a month rent. You should be able to get a studio apartment for that. And even if you got to commute a little bit to work, keep your rent $1,000 or under. Even if you got to commute 45 minutes. Why? It should be worth it, because you could. Well, you know, you got to do all the numbers, but just be mindful of that. Okay. So I would lean towards renting. Uh, that answered one part. Now you also asked buy. Let me finish that, and then we'll go all live comments. I would not buy unless you had over 25,000 in the savings account. You had over 700 credit score, and you had a reliable job, and you want to live in that area. So if you don't have over $25,000 in a savings account, and obviously it all depends too on your debt, right? If you had $200,000 in debt but $25,000 in savings, don't matter. So you got to have little to no debt. I'm not saying you can't have any debt, but you got to have low debt levels. And if you're gonna get a mortgage, you're gonna check your debt to income ratio anyway, which is like you got to be less than 35% debt to income ratio. You got to have a decent credit score because look, if you're broke, buying is not an option. So just eliminate that till you get your financial health together. But never buy in an area you don't want to live long term or at least 10 years. So if you can pick out a lot of the things I just said, that'll tell you rent or buy or live in your car. So one is I don't think you should ever buy if you don't plan on being in that area for at least 3 years. I don't think you should buy if you don't have low debt and high savings. I don't think you should buy if you don't have a steady job. And if you put all those things together, that should give you an answer. Let's read the comments. Thank you again, Gianna, for saying really good talk tonight. For opening up more. Thank you, Gianna. I love you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming back and showing love. Thank you. Praying for you and your family. Rideshare Sean, yep. I read that. Charles, take care, brother. Good sermon. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Keith, well, Sam, we made it through another day. Thank God. I love you, Keith. I really do, brother. Rideshare Sean, $2.99 super chat, brother. Thank you. Let me read your comment. Thanks. Good advice. I know, like to think about the numbers. Take care. Okay. Thank you, Rideshare Sean. Yeah, I talked that out in a long form. I hope that wasn't overwhelming, but I did all that because there's a lot of particulars you got to break down. And I know you may not want to share all them in a live chat. I respect that. But that's why I talked it out. That way you can kind of figure it out on your own a little bit. And you know, because ultimately always do what you want in your life. But buying is a long-term commitment and you got to be financially solvent. You got to have, a passion for where you're living. There's exceptions, but again, if you're single with no pets, no kids, and you're making $3,200 a month, the good news is even if you rent and you lower your savings amount, you're not doing bad. Why? Because you're doing good. Okay. All right, everyone. The sweat's now pouring in my eyes. I gave it all I got, and I appreciate everyone. I want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart. Hopefully my videos help you. Thank you.